In today's video, we will be exploring an action-adventure film titled Sniper Reloaded. There will be spoilers ahead, so sit back and enjoy. The story begins with Sergeant Brandon Beckett attending a deposition hearing. He is facing several charges, including abandoning his post and neglecting his duties. Lieutenant Eleanor Bromowitz wants to know where he was on August 4th, 2010. Beckett explains that he was in the Congo with his squad at that time. Their mission was to train the local army to fight against heavily armed rebel forces. In return, those soldiers would later assist in military operations in Afghanistan. He then begins explaining the events that led to his disappearance during the mission. Meanwhile, Lycée Army Captain Nelson is called to meet Colonel Yeager. Beckett accompanies him because the meeting may be related to his transfer. During the briefing, they are informed that the training program will be temporarily suspended. Instead, they must lead 10 soldiers into the Democratic Republic of the Congo for a special mission. The news surprises them because the area is normally off-limits. The officer assures them that the operation has been officially approved by the government. Their objective is to extract a Belgian plantation owner named Jean Van Brunt and his workers from a dangerous region. Beckett suggests using a helicopter to evacuate the Belgian businessman. He believes it would be a safer and more efficient option. However, Colonel Yeager explains that the rebels possess missiles capable of targeting low-flying aircraft. Because of that threat, an air evacuation is considered too risky. As the team approaches the area, Beckett notices that a European hunter is still operating nearby despite the danger. Captain Gova explains that hunting contributes significantly to the local economy. For that reason, certain hunters are still allowed to remain in the region. The hunter's name is Chandler. Eventually, the team arrives at Jean Van Brunt's plantation. Brunt is surprised to see the soldiers. He is even more surprised when they inform him that they are there to evacuate him. Brunt resists the idea of leaving. He insists that he is not afraid of the rebels. He explains that the plantation was built by his father and that he would rather stay and accept whatever happens. However, he is informed that the evacuation order is mandatory. Realizing he has no choice, Brunt finally agrees to leave with them. While traveling away from the plantation, Beckett suddenly senses danger. He notices signs that a sniper may be targeting Brunt. Immediately, he warns everyone to get down. The group quickly takes cover inside an empty shipping container. Unfortunately, Brunt is exposed for a brief moment and is fatally shot by the sniper. 2 soldiers are also killed during the attack. Inside the container, they discover evidence suggesting it had previously been used to transport weapons from the United States into the Congo. With enemy fire closing in, Captain Nelson and Sergeant Beckett decide that their best chance of survival is to run toward the trees along the road. As they make their escape, Beckett is struck in the shoulder by a bullet. The impact causes him to fall into a manhole. Soon afterward, he loses consciousness. When Beckett finally wakes up, he finds himself being treated by Chandler, the European hunter he had seen earlier. Beckett immediately asks Chandler to take him back to the plantation because he believes his comrades may still be alive. However, when they arrive at the plantation, Chandler delivers devastating news. According to him, Beckett is the only survivor. The two enter Brunt's house and search for anything that might be useful. Suddenly, Kelly, Brunt's daughter, appears and points a gun at them. Earlier, her father had struck her when the soldiers arrived. Because of this, she believes the soldiers are responsible for his death. Chandler calmly talks to her and explains that her father was his friend. After convincing her, they take Kelly with them. On their way to Chandler's camp, they come across a group of rebels. The rebels are kidnapping children and forcing them to become soldiers. Once the rebels notice them, they immediately open fire. Chandler and Beckett fight back. After a fierce exchange, they eliminate the attackers and rescue several children. With the children safe, the two men part ways for a while. Chandler wants to continue searching for other kidnapped children. Meanwhile, Beckett plans to hand Kelly over to the authorities. As Beckett gets closer to the military base, his condition begins to worsen. His shoulder wound is still fresh. He has been bleeding ever since he was shot. Despite the pain, he struggles to remain conscious. Eventually, his strength gives out and he collapses. He is rushed to a hospital for treatment and recovery. When Beckett wakes up, he finds sniper instructor Richard Miller at his bedside. Miller was once a student of Beckett's father. He has come to check on him. Beckett immediately expresses his desire for revenge. He wants to find the sniper responsible for the attack and make him pay. Miller explains that if Beckett truly wants to understand his enemy, he must learn how snipers think and operate. As an experienced sniper instructor, he offers to help him. Later, Beckett returns to Colonel Yeager's office. He is surprised by the colonel's lack of interest in investigating the ambush. Even after learning that the attackers used American-made weapons, the officers seem unwilling to pursue the matter. Lieutenant Eleanor Bromowitz supports Yeager's position. She tells Beckett that they do not have the resources for a deeper investigation. Unwilling to let the matter go, Beckett volunteers to investigate the incident himself. He cannot ignore the deaths of his teammates. However, his request is denied. Later, Beckett invites Bromowitz to dinner. He suspects that she knows more than she is willing to reveal. During their conversation, she tells him that she is not his enemy. She explains that the military simply lacks the resources to uncover the full truth behind Brunt's death. Beckett responds by saying that he knows how to track down the sniper. Bromowitz Abramowitz subtly suggests that the attack may have involved more than just rebel forces. Her words convince Beckett that a larger conspiracy may be hidden behind the incident. Determined to uncover the truth, he begins planning his own investigation. Soon afterward, Miller notices Beckett leaving the base. He warns him that he is still recovering and is not ready for such a dangerous mission. But Beckett has already made his decision. This is the moment he chooses to leave his post and go absent without authorization. His goal is to reunite with Chandler and track down the people responsible for the attack. Beckett promises Chandler that he will help rescue the kidnapped children. In return, he asks Chandler to help him locate the rebels. The two men then travel to a small rebel camp. There, they discover that the kidnapped children have been gathered together. The rebels are preparing to transport them to another camp, where they will be trained as child soldiers. From a distance, Beckett and Chandler carefully observe the enemy camp. The rebels are unloading weapons that appear to have come from the United States. Beckett asks Chandler to stay down while he moves into position. The execution of the captured children is about to begin. As Beckett looks through his scope, he notices a rebel preparing to kill a child with a machete. Without hesitation, he takes the shot and eliminates the attacker. The remaining rebels quickly become targets as Beckett continues firing with remarkable accuracy. Meanwhile, one rebel quietly moves toward Chandler's backpack. Before the man can get any closer, a sniper round suddenly takes him down. Beckett is surprised by the unexpected shot. It soon becomes clear that Richard Miller has arrived to assist him. Miller knows how dangerous the enemy sniper is. He reveals that the sniper's name is Musiello, a former American Marine and one of his former students. Beckett is stunned by the revelation. He had believed they were fighting Congolese rebels, not a fellow American. Miller further explains that the orders likely came from someone high within the chain of command. According to his theory, Brunt was killed to prevent him from exposing a secret weapons operation. The operation allegedly involves supplying American weapons to both rebel groups and government forces in the Congo. After hearing this, Beckett begins to question Miller's motives. He wonders whether Miller is involved in the cover-up. Miller assures him that he is there to help. He explains that Beckett's father once trained him as a sniper. Helping Beckett is his way of repaying that debt. He also admits that he became concerned after learning about the ambush that killed Beckett's teammates. Later, Beckett contacts Abramowitz by phone. He tells her that he knows who was responsible for the attack on his squad. He asks her to send a team to his location. In reality, he intentionally reveals his position. If the conspiracy is real, the people behind it will learn where he is and make a move. Abramowitz immediately reports the information to Colonel Yeager. She urges him to send a rescue team. She also explains that Beckett has gathered strong evidence regarding the ambush. However, Yeager appears uninterested. He claims that sending a team would be difficult and that obtaining approval is a major challenge. Refusing to give up, Abramowitz volunteers to lead the mission herself. Yeager eventually authorizes the operation and assigns 4 soldiers to accompany her. What she does not know is that he has a hidden agenda. He secretly sends another team that includes Musiello. Their true mission is to eliminate Beckett. Meanwhile, Chandler transports the rescued children out of the conflict zone and towards safety. At the same time, Miller and Beckett prepare for the confrontation they know is coming. Miller hands Beckett a handgun. The weapon once belonged to Beckett's late father. He wants Beckett to use it if he gets the chance to face Musiello. Soon afterward, Abramowitz and her team arrive to rescue Beckett. However, she remains unaware that some of the soldiers with her have been sent to kill him. Another armed group is also moving into the area to ensure Beckett does not survive. At first, Abramowitz dismisses Beckett's suspicions. Then gunfire suddenly erupts around them. The truth becomes impossible to ignore. Beckett now finds himself facing soldiers from the very forces he once helped train. Together, Beckett and Miller fight back and begin eliminating the attackers. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Beckett and Miller continue fighting and eliminate the enemy soldiers one by one. During the battle, Miller becomes careless and briefly exposes himself. Musiello takes advantage of the opportunity and shoots him. Although wounded, Miller survives. Meanwhile, Beckett tracks down Captain Ngoba and forces him to reveal the truth behind the operation. Ngoba finally confesses that Brunt had been used by Colonel Yeager to help move American weapons to rebel groups. He explains that he never reported the operation because he believed nobody would trust his story. Unfortunately, before he can provide further details, Musiello shoots and kills him. With Ngoba dead, Beckett loses a key witness who could have testified against Yeager. As a result, he is left without solid evidence to expose the colonel. Soon afterward, Beckett manages to locate Musiello's position. He carefully takes aim and prepares to end the fight. When he pulls the trigger, the bullet strikes Musiello's scope. The impact damages the scope and grazes the sniper's face. However, Musiello survives the attack. Neither man is willing to back down. The deadly sniper duel continues until nightfall. Both fighters switch to night vision equipment and continue hunting each other in the darkness. Beckett then comes up with a plan. He deliberately moves near a fuel tank, knowing that Musiello will focus his attention on that area. At the right moment, Beckett shoots the tank. A massive explosion erupts and temporarily disrupts Musiello's vision. Using the confusion as cover, Beckett quickly changes positions without being detected. Musiello recovers and resumes his search. However, he does not realize that Beckett has already moved behind him. Seizing the opportunity, Beckett pulls out the handgun Miller had given him. him. He approaches silently and eliminates Musiello at close range. Later, during the deposition hearing, Beckett is asked whether he has any evidence proving that Yeager was behind the weapons operation. Unfortunately, he cannot provide any physical proof. As a result, he is informed that the court-martial proceedings will continue. Even so, Beckett can tell that the officers questioning him suspect Yeager is involved. Officially, however, they cannot take action without concrete evidence. Abramovitz then turns off the recording equipment. She explains that military regulations prevent them from pursuing the matter any further. That conversation gives Beckett all the motivation he needs. Soon afterward, he secretly enters Colonel Yeager's home and confronts him directly. Inside, Beckett notices photographs showing that Brunt and Yeager were once close friends. Believing he is cornered, Yeager begins talking openly. He admits that American weapons were supplied to both rebel groups and government forces. He also reveals that Brunt helped move those weapons through his business operations. Unaware that he is exposing himself, Yeager continues revealing information about the scheme. What he does not know is that Abramovitz and her team are secretly listening from another room. With the confession recorded, the authorities finally have the evidence they need. Colonel Yeager is immediately arrested. Later, Major Gall, a special operations commander, arrives shortly after Yeager is taken away. He personally offers Beckett a position in a new assignment. Miller is also present and supports the offer. The story ends with Beckett being given a new opportunity and a fresh start. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe for more movie explanations and help support the channel.